It is our pleasure to be joined by a five-star quarterback in the 2023 class. He also happens to be committed to the University of Oklahoma. Jackson Arnold is in the house. Jackson, where's the mustache, man? What happened? I was told to make fun of you for the mustache, but it's gone.
Yeah, it's my fault. I shaved it during our bye week just to kind of reset it for playoffs. Got to get the juice going back.
That's
I like it.
nice. Hey, you know what? Whatever you got to do to reset a little bit, but whenever you're a freshman, whenever you make it to Oklahoma, there's no telling what they might do. So, like, just the fact that you've gone through the mustache stuff already, that's setting you up.
Yes, sir. No doubt.
So before we talk about, and I'm very interested in kind of what the recruitment process is like for a guy like yourself, five-star QB. But before we talk about all that, how's the season going, man? We're recording this before you got a big game this week against Allen that'll actually be on ESPN2. But up to this point, how's the season going for you?
Up to this point, it's been great. 7-0 is everything we could wish for. Everyone's playing good. We're playing as a team. Everyone's bonding. It's super fun. This is one of my favorite teams I've ever been a part of, honestly. Like, everyone's connecting good. We've been having a blast. And we play tomorrow on ESPN, as you just said. This will air Monday, so I'm praying that we won. But it's been really fun so far, and being able to play on ESPN is a really cool experience.
So, was it the plan all along to try and get your recruitment and everything behind you before you head into this final year, or did it just kind of unfold like that? Because I got to imagine that getting it done and being able to just go out there and focus on the football, focus on your fundamentals, focus on being a part of a team and playing with your teammates and driving towards a goal. It's probably has to be nice to have that behind you. Was that the plan?
Yeah, no doubt. I might not have planned to commit as early as I did, but as soon as I visited Oklahoma, I just knew that was a place I wanted to be. But my original plan was to maybe, I don't know, take visits during the spring and then commit in the summer. I was never planning on dragging it out through the season because I just wanted one less thing to worry about for the season, just kind of focus on playing ball.
So why Oklahoma, man? What was it about the staff, the program that made you want to commit as early as you did?
Yeah, well, first off, it was the staff. I wouldn't have this opportunity if Coach Riley didn't leave and Coach Venables and Coach Lebby came in. And on top of that, I was super close with Lebby at Ole Miss. It was always good to be in my family, and we created a really strong bond there and just built on top of that at Oklahoma. I remember he called me and told me he got the job and told me I needed to come visit pretty soon. Well, I did. I went up, talked to Coach V, met the whole entire staff, saw campus, saw facilities, met the people around it, like the Soul Mission, met all those guys, and absolutely loved it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things happening up there. The facilities are good right now, but they're about to get a lot better. There's a lot of stuff in the pipeline there. So, like you said that you didn't originally plan to commit as early as you did. What was it? Was it the meeting with the staff? I mean, is it just one of those things where when like everything just clicked, it felt right, and you wanted to get it out of the way?
Pretty much. I mean, it just kind of felt like home. I didn't commit the day that I visited there. I committed, I think, the next week. But when I was there shopping, I was in Campus Corner after just going and buying some clothes. And I was talking to my mom, I'm like, what do you think if I committed here? Like, I felt that strongly about it after talking to Coach V. And she said she was perfectly fine with it. Slept on it, prayed about it, and a couple of days later committed.
So you mentioned Coach V. Now, Teddy played for Coach Venables. He was one of his linebackers. Coach V was the defensive coordinator when I was there, so we know him well. What's it like getting recruited by that guy right now? Because I mean, it's different. He used to be the coordinator. Now he's the head guy. What's it like
Mhm.
being recruited by Brent Venables?
I never knew Coach Venables as a the defensive coordinator, but as a head coach, he's super high energy. I'm sure y'all can say the same. Extremely high energy. I don't get off the phone with him until like 45 minutes later off of FaceTime because he just talks forever. But it's all good stuff. Like, I'm not complaining. I love talking to Coach Venables, but he's a great guy, super high energy guy. I'm super glad he's my coach.
So you've got to see in I know you knew Lebby's offense from his time at Ole Miss. You had a good
Mhm.
relationship with him there. And seeing the offense now at Oklahoma and the way it's taken shape, and boy, it's quarterback driven. I think we've seen that here recently, that whenever you have your guy in there, you can put up the huge yards, but I guess that's why we need guys like you coming in. So like, what's your overall impressions of that offense?
Super impressed so far. It's been very creative. I love all the play calls so far, even in games like TCU when maybe we weren't having that success in the first half. I mean, the people were open, the plays were open. We just didn't execute properly. I think that's one thing to look at is people can look at that TCU game and bash the offense or bash Coach Lebby for only having a certain amount of yards, certain amount of points, whatever. But if you go back and actually look at the game, everything he's calling's been open, everything's been working. It's just a matter of execution at that point. I've been really impressed with how almost every play I've seen has been open in one way or another. There's an answer to pretty much everything.
Yeah, that's kind of what the offense is based on. You just having answers no matter what coverage you're getting defensively in the pass game. Now, correct me if I'm mistaken, but you were at the Texas game, right?
I was.
So none of us had fun there. Teddy and I were both there, but after it, what was kind of the message from the staff? Because I'm sure they reached out to the recruits and things like, hey, just bear with us. Like, we're working through this stuff, because clearly that was not the type of performance that Oklahoma wanted to have on that stage in that game.
Yeah, Lebby texted me not long after the game. Basically, short, sweet message. Said, get up here and get ready to play. Get ready to come on and take reps and get ready to play, which I'm super excited for and super ready for. So,
yeah, well, it'll be here before you know it. Which are you set to be an early arrival?
Yes, sir, I am.
Yeah, it's going to be happening. I mean,
Well,
it's around the corner. It's around the corner. It's going to be on your fast, and it's going to be great to have you here. It's going to be life-changing and all for the better. Like, what is some of the things that maybe you look at right now in your game that not necessarily are they weaknesses, but things that you feel like at the next level that you're going to have to really accelerate and get those things tuned in, whether it's arm strength, whether it's accuracy, like just are there any of those things that you're really chomping at the bit to really increase and get better at once you get on campus?
Definitely my throwing mechanics, and that kind of I guess partners with arm strength, just because increasing the smoothness of my mechanics and making it more efficient, allowing me to use my hips more, will create more velocity and create more arm strength, and just put some more velocity on the ball to kind of help me get that college ready arm.
So that's interesting. Just hearing you talk about it that way, the mechanics and the hips and stuff. Do you have a throwing coach? I know this has become a thing, like QB trainers and all that stuff. And how does that work with kind of what you're doing in high school, and then what Lebby's been telling you? Like, how's that all work, man?
I do have a QB coach. I normally work with him in the off season. So after the season will be done, I'll get with him probably before I head up to OU. I'll get with him probably 4 times a week to kind of refine mechanics, make sure everything's good. Now I think about it, I won't be with him that much because the Under Armour game. So we're planning to play into December 18th for a state championship game. I think the week after, or we leave the 29th for Orlando for the game. So I'll have about a week and a half, and I'll probably go every single day, just throwing my QB coach and kind of diving deep into the mechanics, making everything more effortless, pretty much.
To be young and have that type of energy right after
Every
a
day.
long
That
football
sounds
season.
terrible.
That's great. So, okay, so correct me on any of this if the timeline is not right, but you commit to Oklahoma at the time you're a 4-star, right?
So,
You go out, you do the Elite 11 stuff. That goes fantastic. As things progress, you get that 5th star. The season's been going amazing for you. You're committed to Oklahoma, but I got to imagine that everyone is still trying to beat the door down. Like, how have you handled that? What you and I'm sure it was happening before you got the 5th star, but like, if there was ever a doubt about you being on the map, you are firmly on the map now. And I'm sure every school out there is still trying, even though they know you're committed, still trying to get at least a conversation to see what they can do to sway you.
Yeah, definitely after the 3 games before the Kansas game for OU, just kinda after all that happens, you have coaches reaching out, just kinda asking me how I am, and I understand why they're texting just because OU just went on a 3-game losing streak. But at the end of the day, I trust Coach V and Coach Lebby and what all the coaching staff's doing, and we'll get this train back on tracks pretty soon.
People are gonna really like hearing that, man. They're gonna really like hearing that. Now, so you commit in January, and I think you were like the first or at very least the second guy to commit in that 2023 class, and you're the quarterback. Do you just once you committed, do you just start recruiting other guys, right? Because Teddy and I talk about this quite a bit. You know, the quarterback always ends up being the face of the recruiting class, and no one can recruit better than the face of the class. And so how much pressure did you feel to start recruiting other guys and bring them here in the fold to OU?
A lot of pressure, especially because, as you said, it was me, Josh Bates, and DeAndre Moore in this class. DeAndre Moore decommitted, so it's just me and Josh. And it was hard at first. I'm not gonna lie. Everything was going pretty slow. I wasn't losing hope. I knew we'd be fine in the long run. I didn't think we'd have the number 3 or number 4 class that we have right now, but things were going slow at first. I kind of got a little discouraged, but just kind of kept grinding. Me and Josh kept grinding, and eventually in June we started to get some commits. We had our official visitors June 3rd, and then July hit and it just took off. And it was pretty cool to see because it's kind of like all this hard work that me and Josh and the early people put in finally come to fruition. So
Yeah, I think that's big, and that obviously means a lot to not just the staff and the current players on the roster, but the fan base as well. To see a kid that's out there grinding, trying to do the best that he can right out of the gate. And as you talk, that recruiting class continued to improve, and there was some diamonds in the rough early. And I would say you kind of fall into that category that there was a lot of the right guys that their stars have continued to rise as things have moved on. And as you guys talk, like, is the resolve still there as much as it was early on, June, July, when everyone started to commit? You still feel like everyone's bought in and like feels a responsibility, not just, you know, about the recruiting class, but with the success of Oklahoma in the future?
yeah, definitely. I really don't. We all talk in our players group chat after games and stuff. And past couple weeks, there really wasn't anything negative said. It was more so of, well, I see I can probably play earlier now, or simple stuff like that. Like just wait till Coach V gets
That's
us
right.
back on the tracks, and they were pretty faithful, pretty hopeful for the future, pretty faithful, and had a lot of trust in the staff.
Oh, I'm dying at that. Like just the entire 2023 class saying,
It's
"You
like, hell
watching this,
yeah, let's
dude?
go.
We're gonna get on the field. This is awesome." No, that's good, man. So do you guys talk a lot? Like, do you just have like the group text going? Or you guys texting during games? Like, how's that all work?
Yeah, well, we have like a group chat with JR Samlin on text, and then Snapchat. We made a players group chat on Snapchat that we'll all talk to. We'll snap each other and just mess around.
So
Uh,
take us
be
back to
careful with
that.
that old Snapchat.
No,
That thing's gonna
nothing
be
bad,
interesting
nothing
here in a
bad.
couple years, guys.
Yeah, that's right. Um, take us back to that Elite 11 camp, which is a really cool deal to get the invite there and be able to go and kind of compare yourself against the best. Were you nervous going out there? I know you were probably excited about the opportunity, but just how'd that whole thing go, and what was it like in the end whenever, after all that hard work and everything, performed well, you get named the MVP?
Yeah, it was. I was definitely nervous heading out there. I'm sure everyone was. It was something I wanted to be a part of for years now, since I was, I want to say like sixth grade, fifth, sixth grade. It's something I wanted to do and be a part of, and to finally see it happen was awesome. But I was thinking about this the other day actually. I was kind of going in there as an underdog, per se. Like I would watch. I think 2 days before they started putting out like previews for the Elite 11, I'd go watch it, and they'd mention like 7 or 8 quarterbacks, like the top 10, and they never mentioned my name. So I'm just kind of like, whatever. I guess it's time to show them. Went out, had a good first day, which I think kind of set up my success later because I had a better first day than I had third day. But the first 2 days, I think I performed so well that it kind of trumped my third. I'm not saying I did bad my third day, but those two kind of trumped the third one, kind of just let me win the whole thing, which was really awesome too. Just kind of being in the company of guys like CJ Stroud and Justin Fields and people like that. Matthew Stafford, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's I mean, that thing has turned into a massive deal, especially now with what Dilfer's done with it. What was the coolest part, right? Like what was the coolest experience? I don't know if it was the coaching, the instruction you got, or just interacting with the other guys. Like what was the coolest part of that Elite 11 experience for you?
I'd definitely say interacting with the guys. Like I really honestly I could say everything but the hot yoga we did because that was the worst thing ever. It really was. It was really bad. I enjoyed every single part of it. Seriously, it was a great experience, but that hot yoga was not it. It was really bad.
You keep in touch with any of the guys that you met out there and played with?
Yes, sir. Every once in a while, we'll text each other and see how the season's going. Just check in with each other.
Who was, just because you never know who you're going to end up playing against in college football. Who was the other guy? Who's like the one guy where you're like, dang, okay, that guy can spin it?
Dante Moore, for sure. The first and second day, I wasn't in his group, but I would go off and look at other groups too, like while I was waiting in line. And he's the one that stood out to me. Very consistent, like very, very consistent, accurate, spins the ball really well.
Yeah. What about and I'm sure you've got some really good talent on your team that you're throwing to, but I don't know the guys that were out there, but I'm sure there's some elite guys that you've thrown to. And is that kind of what you expect to feel like whenever you're at the next level, throwing to some of those receivers, or do you already have a good feel for that with some of the guys that you practice with and play with now?
I think I have a pretty good feel for it right now. Obviously, not exactly how it's going to be in college, but my left outside receivers got offers from like Tennessee and Penn State, and my other outside receiver is committed to UIW, but could have. I mean, he was good. Like OU was going to offer him PWO, so like and he could go over there and come here and earn that offer, but he could definitely go Power 5 in my eyes. So throwing the guys like that kind of has me already ready for college in my eyes.
Good. I like it. Okay. So being a 5-star quarterback, it seems great. Now, I was not a quarterback, so I got no idea what it's like going through the process. Are there any negatives to it? Like, is there any annoying part of being such a highly recruited guy at the quarterback position?
Definitely the pressure that gets put on you, especially in games too. A lot's expected of you, and if you don't perform, you'll probably get bashed on social media and all that. You just kind of have to learn to tune that out, really. Which I don't focus on any negative stuff I see on Twitter or anything. I just try to work to be the best I am in games. So
How's your high school coaching staff handled that type of stuff with you? Is that something you guys have a dialogue about and something that you've had to talk to before the season and maybe throughout the season about kind of the pressure of it and kind of where you're at and not letting all that kind of get to you or anything?
uh, not really. Our all of our coaches we kind of feel the same about our. I'm trying to think about how to word this. Our coaches have faith in us. They don't have to feel the need to tell us, be level headed because me, Peyton, Ryan, Eli, we're all level headed, humble people, and we know that we don't our ego doesn't get too big, and we don't let people take it too low. So
That's a good way of doing it, man. There's no doubt. Now, one of the big things right now for highly recruited guys like yourself is this conversation around NIL and the role it's playing in recruiting and where guys are going. Like, is that overblown? Is it that big of a deal to you? Have you heard stories from other guys? Like what are some of your thoughts just on the name, image, and likeness stuff and kind of the role it's playing right now in college football?
um obviously I like it because it gives me opportunity to make money, but I'm also kind of skeptical about it. You hear these stories of kids being offered millions of dollars, and I mean, obviously that could gather your interest, but at the same time, is it real? Like you don't know till you get there if it's real or not. If it's not real, you're stuck there for at least a year before you can get out. And I like NIL because it gives us a lot of opportunities, but I feel like it's also kind of ruining recruiting in a way because you can just buy out other schools at this point.
Yeah, yeah, it can be frustrating, and I can understand the pressure of it. Not, and it's new to everyone, and not knowing how it's all going to work out, and not knowing a lot of times the people behind it, because it's not tied with the university, and can you trust all those things? It's got to be tough to make your way through it. So tell us about the rest of the season, man. We know you got this big game coming up with Allen. That's going to be awesome, being able to watch that on television. How you guys think you stack up? I know you said you plan on playing in the state championship at the end of December before the Under Armour game, which I love the confidence, but tell us about some of the top teams out there that you're looking forward to maybe playing.
Super excited about this game tomorrow. Allen's a great team, has some great ball players. It's gonna be a really fun game. Play McKinney next week, a really solid team. All three of us are tied for district title right now, us, Allen, and McKinney. And then when it gets to playoffs, teams like Highland Park will be round 2. Byron Nelson's been playing really good so far. That'd be like round 3. And the big one I'm excited for is there's a chance we play DeSoto round 5, which would be extremely fun. So,
See, I'm an Oklahoma guy, and I know every program you're talking about, so I know that those are all going to be great games.
Oh yeah.
So I like that the it's so big that it's like round 5 and then round 6 and there's so many teams there that are good. That's pretty impressive.
All right, man. With one more question for you, and then let's get out of here. What's it been like? Because Teddy and I are OU guys. We're fully aware of how passionate and enthusiastic the fan base can be, especially on Twitter and Instagram and that type of stuff. What has that whole experience been like since you committed and since you've kind of become, the face of this next group, kind of this next phase of OU football as it transitions to the SEC here in a few years?
It's really awesome. Just kind of seeing all these fans have your back, regardless. I think on my Twitter, I went from having like 2,000 followers to now like 16K, and then Instagram like 2,000 to like almost 10,000 now. So seeing that many people keep up with OU is actually pretty cool to see, and just knowing that the fan base is going to be with y'all, regardless if y'all are winning or losing, hot streak, cold streak, they're going to be with y'all and support y'all regardless. The stadium's going to be packed all the time. It's just really cool.
Go Whip Allen, smoke them.
Yes, sir.
Pull them for you.
All right, Jackson, man. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Yes, sir.